I'm gonna tell you how to make YouTube videos without messing up, because I know that a lot of content creators, when they're putting their videos together, especially if you're just getting started, you keep running into this thing like, why can't I just make a really good video? Well, I'm gonna tell you the secrets that content creators that have experience use in order to make their videos awesome. And we're starting right now. So the very first thing that you wanna do when you are trying to make videos perfectly, or when you're trying to make videos without making any mistakes, or so that it seems like there's no mistakes when somebody actually watches them, is record for the edit. Here's what I mean. When you're recording for the edit, what you're doing is you're actually recording similar things over and over and over again a handful of times, so that once you put them into your computer, you have a lot more to choose from when it comes to your edit. Using this clip right here as an example, as you're watching this right now, it's possible that I might have made one take of this and I actually just messed up my words, so I'm gonna do it again. It was subtle, but I noticed it, so I'm gonna do it again. As I'm recording this clip right here, I might end up making mistakes, and those mistakes might cause me to restart this clip a few times so that I can make sure that when it comes time to actually put this stuff together, that there's enough to work with when it comes to the edit to make it a seamless experience for you. Sometimes you can nail it on the first try to where everything just comes out right, everything comes out exactly as you intended it. But in a lot of cases, you might be in a situation to where you have to repeat things a few times in order to get the one that sounds the best for you. But when you are recording for the edit, other really cool things that you can do when you're thinking about how is this gonna go together once I take this into the computer or into my phone and I start editing all this together. One of the things that you can think about is there something else that I might add to the video at this particular point in time? Which brings me to number 2, using additional footage in your videos. So right now, as you're looking at this video, there's stuff happening on the screen right now. There's clips of people recording videos or editing videos or something relevant to what it is that I'm talking about that's playing on the screen right now as I'm saying all of this. And another really cool thing about using B-roll footage or graphics as B-roll in your videos is that they can also be used to cover up mistakes. So let's say that while I was making this clip right here, I actually ended up either stopping it or changing what I was saying or something along those lines to where we used B-roll to cover it up, then that would have made it seem like it was seamless for you. And the funny thing is we actually did that. So right here in this example, what I did is I actually just stopped what I was saying before so that it could be put together on the back end. And here, we'll actually just show you exactly what happened right here. Let's say that while I was making this clip right here, I actually ended up either stopping it or changing what I was. So you can see what I mean in terms of using it creatively or strategically in order to either fix mistakes or to enhance the videos that you're putting out. Because when you can use additional footage to illustrate your ideas or additional graphics, another thing is it does kind of break things up a little bit and it helps your videos look a little bit more pro. The next thing that's gonna be really helpful to you when it comes to learning how to make your videos without mistakes, or at least mistakes that people can see or to where it might look like a mistake, is actually structuring and planning your content. Here's what I mean. When you're using the things that we were just talking about in terms of recording for the edit itself and using B-roll in your videos, something that can also be really helpful is that when you are structuring and planning your content, then you know, hey, in this part of the video, I have to make sure that I do this. In this part of the video, I have to make sure that I do this. For example, when your video starts, you know that you have to grab somebody's attention on YouTube when the video first starts in order to keep them watching for a longer period of time, which is really important to YouTube. So when you're thinking, how can I grab somebody's attention at the beginning of my video, even if you're out in the world vlogging, or even if you're a gamer and you're starting your game up and you're trying to grab somebody's attention there, you know that that's something that you have to do. So if you don't do it right when you're actually recording because you're out in the world and you're just kind of doing it that way, that's another place to where just when you're structuring the content, you're planning things out, you can say, you know what, in this part, I'm going to say as a voiceover later on in the video, I'm going to say this particular part, but I'm going to show footage from later in the video or from a stock clip that I happen to get or from something that I recorded myself to use in that particular part. And the really cool thing about doing it that way is when you are structuring and planning your content, it can help take the load off, because in that situation, you think, okay, well, when I'm out in the world, I just got to make sure that I get this type of footage so that when I'm doing the beginning, I can say this, or I got to make sure that I have somebody that I'm talking to go like this so that I can remind people to give the video a thumbs up. And as a matter of fact, if you're enjoying this, give this video a thumbs up right now. But the idea is when you are structuring and planning your content, it just gives you insight into what it is that you might do so that you can make sure that you're preparing for that on the front end in terms of any additional footage or stuff that you're gonna be using in your videos. And by structuring and planning your content, it lets you know exactly what it is that you need to get for your videos and how you're gonna put things together. But here's a bonus tip. When you are structuring and planning your content, it's also extremely valuable to make sure that you are writing in things that you might forget later. For example, if you want to remind people to subscribe in your videos, but you find yourself always forgetting, then in that situation, just write it in. Just write a little note to yourself in the structure of your content and say, oh, it's the end of the video. Just make a little note to remind people to subscribe. Or like, or comment, or any other call to action or thing that you want people to do. Just make sure that you write it into your structure or your plan so that you can remember to make sure that you do it. Now, the next one that we're gonna talk about here is more of a stylistic choice and how you like to approach things. So I'm gonna give you two different versions of this, and then of course you can decide which one's better for you. Bullet points or scripts. So this can also kind of fall under the planning and structuring your content part, but when you are writing full scripts out, that's like a whole other thing, right? So when you're writing full scripts out, scripts can be really advantageous to make sure that you stay on track and to make sure that you say the right things. And when you're recording for your script, another really cool thing about it is you can record each clip as like one sentence or one small paragraph so that you can make sure that you can remember every part. And if it takes you a handful of times to say that particular line correctly, not a big deal. This is how they actually put movies together. This is how they do everything. All the big production stuff that you see and all the polished stuff that you see, it's done in this way. And then of course you have the other side of things, which is bullet points. Now bullet points is something that I use. Sometimes I'll do a bullet point with a few notes underneath that bullet point so I can make sure that I emphasize something that's important. But for me, one of the really cool things about bullet points is it helps me communicate in the way that I naturally communicate. And it also makes the prep time for the videos that I make not as massive because I'm just saying, okay, talk about this, talk about this, talk about this as an example. But this helps prevent you from messing up because if you are writing out the bullet points of the things that you need to make sure that you're talking about, then you're not gonna forget to talk about things. You're not gonna have these weird spots in your videos to where you should have said something, but you forgot, so then now the whole video is screwed up. Okay, so this next one's gonna sound completely crazy, but bear with me here, okay? So another thing that's going to help you make videos without messing up is practice. And what I mean by that is, when you are sitting in a room by yourself, or you're sitting there and you're gaming by yourself, or you're doing anything out in the world by yourself, when you're just talking to a camera, especially if you're just getting started, it might be a little bit uncomfortable for you and it might take some getting used to. And it might take some getting used to talking out loud into the air with nobody there to actually listen to you, nobody there to reply to you, to where you're just like talking out loud, kind of like you're a crazy person. Wait a minute, am I a crazy person? Is all this even real? Who am I? What? Yep, it's been decided. Crazy, I think. But anyway, when you practice talking out loud, it's gonna make you a lot more comfortable when you get in front of the camera and you start doing the same exact thing. So if you are hanging out at home and nobody else is there, or you're driving, or you're walking around, as long as nobody's there, just practice talking out loud, talk in the way that you would talk to your camera, talk in the way that you would talk to a friend, because that can be beneficial as well. But just talk out loud like you normally would and just get used to hearing your own voice, get used to processing your thoughts loudly instead of everything being internal. And that's gonna help you in a major way when it comes to recording for the edit and making sure that you're communicating clearly on camera. And look, I know if you're trying to make videos without messing up that you're probably doing it for your YouTube channel. And since you're doing it for your YouTube channel, that means you're probably wanting to grow your YouTube channel this year. So I put out a video recently right here that's going to take you through the process of knowing how to do that. Make sure that you click into that right here, right now. And if you haven't yet, make sure you subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.